They were big. It was indeed a day of disruption, which is how it was billed. And it's quite interesting because there were dozens of protests across the country, some small. Some people would just gather in their local area, block their local road. I just went to one where there were thousands of people in the centre of Jerusalem on a march to the residence of Israel's president, stopped by the police, by the way, from going via Israel's prime minister's house. And there were showstoppers. The events, main roads blocked. The airport terminal was an amazing protest event. A very interesting mixture of spontaneous and planned, creative. But, you can see that these people are determined. You can also see that the government is plainly getting sick of this and that the police, it's a harder hand we're seeing from the police with water cannons and many arrests.
I mean, Iris, it's interesting that this has been going on for, more than 6 months now, and this public anger isn't showing any signs of dying down, is it?
No, and I know that earlier there was this pause. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said they would take a time out and consider and have some negotiations. Those didn't work. And I think it was discussed that what Netanyahu foresaw was that over that time, the protests would die down and the anger would melt and he could just go ahead and reinstate this judicial reform, perhaps in a phased way, not the whole thing all at once. Well, from what I could see today, that was not the case. These people are determined and they're angry. And there hasn't been that. They do say that in 1968, the protests in France, one of the things that ended them was vacances, was the holidays. The summer holidays here haven't had that effect. And I think that is something that this government will have to take into account, because this level of anger on the streets, the fact that they don't trust the government, that they see this as a phased bringing in of this reform, they don't see it as being over. They see that the whole plan is simply chopped up and changed, and they don't want this plan. And I think that I've heard a number of calls for the Prime Minister to step in and stop this because someone's going to get hurt, and also because you can't continue. It feels like a different Israel.